Craig Jr. and Brandon. She was admitted to the practice of law in the state of Mississippi in September 1996 after completing her bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Southern Mississippi. She has a master's in business administration from the University of New Orleans, and a Juris Doctorate from the University of Mississippi, that we know of as Ole Miss School of Law. Gay is commissioner for the 12th Judicial District with the Mississippi Bar Association and a member of the Magnolia and American Bar Associations. She's a member of the Trial Lawyers Association, the Mississippi Justice Court Judges Association, the Hattiesburg Alumni Chapter of the Delta Sigma Theta, a Hall of Fame member of the University of Mississippi's Black Law Students Association, a member of the Council on Legal Education Opportunities Judges Hall of Fame, a VIP Hall of Fame member of the National Association of Professional Women, and a member and past president of the South Central Mississippi Bar Association. She is currently employed with the Forest County Justice Court, where she has served as an elected judge since 2012. She is owner of the Polk Payton Law Firm. She is former adjunct faculty member with USM's Human Performance and Recreation Department. And she is a former assistant dean of student affairs with the University of Mississippi School of Law. She is author of the book entitled, "This Has Been a Public Service Announcement." And she is the host of an internet radio show entitled, Gay's Public Service Announcement, PSA. She is licensed to practice law in all courts in the great state of Mississippi, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and in the United States Supreme Court. Here with us on this afternoon, we have a licensed attorney, a bar commissioner, a sworn judge, a singer, a songwriter, an author, radio shows, video blogger, a proud wife, and mother. At this time, we present to some, introduce to others, the Honorable Gay Polk Payton-White, receiver as she does.
Thank you. That has to be one of the best introductions I have ever gotten, because he had that preacher rise and fall in his voice while he was introducing me. I was like, you better say that. You better say that like you want to say it. So when Pastor McGowan asked me if I would come to speak today, he asked me if I would also sing, because I'm a singer. I've sang in this church before. And I've been fighting the sounds infection. I've been in the car. I was in the car thinking like, Lord, what can I sing that I ain't got to hit no real high notes on, Jesus? I need some help. So when I came in the door, and I came in, I was watching the praise dancers, and then I watched these two little bitty girls dancing to my favorite Yolanda Adams song, I'm going to be ready. Because it's so many times in our lives when we act like we're not going to be ready because we don't know what God can see. We can only see what our carnal eyes can behold, but he has sight beyond what we see. And he knows what's best for us, so he's going to make sure that we have what we need. And in that moment, God gave me that song that I needed. So I'm going to give y'all a little bit of this song, and then I'm going to go and start talking. Jesus, you're the center of my joy. All that's good and perfect comes from you. You're the heart of my contentment, hope for all I do. Jesus, you're the center they think, you know, I'm going to be like, all pumped up with air in my chest. I'm not, no, I can't do that. Because everything I am and everything I hope to be is because Jesus Christ died for me. And God continues to allow His grace and mercy to pour on me and give me that daily portion of grace and mercy that I need to make it through the next day. So I am so grateful to be here with you guys today. I thank you so much for inviting me. I always count it a privilege to speak to any community group, but this is even more special because we are commemorating the 88th birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King. So I thank you so much for having me here today. Now, even though Dr. King's actual date of birth was yesterday, we're going to commemorate it today. And this is what you got to understand about Mississippi history. You remember when the young man was giving the speech about Martin Luther King, he said the oppression in the state of Mississippi and the things that go on in Mississippi. So in Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, and Mississippi, they're also celebrating Robert E. Lee's birthday today. So they're gonna split it in half, split maybe in half. But to me, Robert E. Lee's birthday does not rise to the level of importance to me that Dr. King's birthday rises to. But that doesn't make me a racist. That makes me a realist. Members of the Confederate Army did not fight and die in contemplation of this little black girl becoming a lawyer and a judge in a Confederate state. Conversely though, Dr. King put his life on the line and he was assassinated during a fight not only for my equality, but for poor white people as well. He did that he died when my mother was pregnant for me, and I will be forever grateful for his sacrifice, that he gave his life so that we could have what we have today, what we take for granted. And we don't talk a whole lot about what we are taking for granted in this country as I go on. But his efforts paved the way for me to have the opportunity to go and graduate from Ole Miss Law School, a school that a little more than 50 years ago, James Meredith had to have armed marshals to take him in there, but I bopped in there in my little 1988 Chevrolet Spectrum and rolled up in there. And I'm here to learn and get my full scholarship education. And I mean, it's just amazing to me because ultimately what his sacrifice did for me is to sit in the chair of honor in a courthouse in a county that is named for a Confederate soldier, Nathan Bedford Forrest. A courthouse that black people were not allowed to even enter unless they were scrubbing the floors. So today I honor Martin Luther King Jr. and I thank him every day for his dedication, for his ultimate sacrifice in contemplation of the equality and freedom that I inherited as a black woman and the respect that I've earned as a black lawyer and a black judge. We celebrate his birthday today. And it's kind of ironic for a lot of black people because I know a lot of us are in our feelings about that and we're going to talk about this. And then on Friday, the inauguration of a new president takes place. And a lot of people are sad about that for different reasons because, I mean, CNN even said that if we see the path that we've been living out in the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King as our dream, then we would see the election of Donald Trump as our nightmare. However, it's not that simple. It's not as simple as discord toward one person. It's not as simple as people having just discord toward Donald Trump. It's about black people who are not necessarily anti-Trump, but they are pro the interests of the communities and their families. Black people are concerned that someone who has never walked a mile in their shoes will not have the capacity to empathize with them and truly feel their pain when they complain that their feet are hurting. Okay? So, but even with all that having been said, we cannot give in to the emotional side of this reality because it will cause us to do that. If we get in our feelings, you know, that's what the kids say. Don't get in your feelings. Now this ain't personal, it's just business. Don't get in your feelings about this. But if we give into the emotional side of that, it will lead to apathy. And apathy leads to complacency. And it leads to us saying, well, I can't do nothing about that because my vote don't count. It ain't nothing I can do. I'm just one person. We can't do that. We cannot afford to do that. That's right. If we give into the emotional side of what is going on in our country today, it will cause us to do something that the Bible strictly instructs us not to do. Grieve as though we have no hope. We can't do that. We can't do that as believers. If you are a believer, then you believe. You can see. You have sight beyond what you see because you know that God is looking ahead for you. You know, it's like that Smokey Norfolk song that I love. He said, when you can't hear my voice, trust my plan. You cannot lean on your own understanding in a time where you feel like the world is falling apart. My hope, personally, you know, this is for me personally. I hope that y'all have the same hope. But my hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and his righteousness. I don't worry about anything, so I have hope despite any difficulties that may be presenting themselves to me in this moment. My hope is in Jesus, and therefore I use God, given everything that God gave me. I use everything that he gave me to make life better for myself, for my children, and for my fellow man. But we're going to have to talk about the elephant in the room. Voting. Voting. Voting is a privilege that so many of us take for granted. It's up to us as adults, as young adults. We got to mobilize people. We have to educate people to let them know that their voice will be heard if they speak. I mean, you cannot say that my black life matters if my black vote don't matter. You got it, and it goes hand in hand. You cannot force anybody to make your life matter if you will not speak. So we got to speak the truth and go unyieldingly, like Dr. King did. He was unyielding. He didn't care if he got arrested. He didn't care if they put the dogs on him. He didn't care if he got shot at. He didn't care if people threw firebombs in his house. He didn't care what he did. He was tireless and relentless in his efforts to change this country. And if we want to keep Dr. King's legacy alive, we cannot sit dormant and do something and wait for somebody to hand us something. It's not going to happen like that. And we have to teach our children about struggle. Some of our children don't know nothing about struggle. Nothing about struggle. We have to teach them that it's beyond this video game. It's beyond what's going on in that video game. That video game ain't real life. You're not going to get any points by killing somebody or robbing somebody like they do in Grand Theft Auto. You need to know what your children are looking at on these video games, because it's giving them a skewed sense of reality, because in those video games, they can shoot the police down and keep moving on with their life because they get a restart button. You don't get no restart button in life. You don't get that. So we have to educate our children at home and in our communities and in our churches, and we have to reach back for them because they are depending on us. And we can't fall short. We got to make this happen. Now, I'm a parent. You know, my mother and father didn't have, both of them had a high school education. Neither one of them went to college, but what they taught me was morality. And they taught me a respect for God and my fellow man. They taught me how to have some sense, act like I got some sense. You act like you got some home training. Don't go out in the street dressed like that and walking like that and doing all that. They taught me that. You know, and it's just like that. That's what we need to teach our children. We may want to give them, you know, the benefits of having a mama who's a judge. You know, I make a little more money than my parents made, but Kobe still has to feel that he is responsible for his own actions. Every action has got to have a consequence for our children. Good actions and bad action. We can't just whoop them when they do bad. We got to praise them when they do good. We got to tell them when they've done a good job. We got to stand up and support our youth and let them know that they mean something so they will keep moving. Now, my son, he's been through a lot. Many of you may know about my son's story. My mother died of cancer, pancreatic cancer, when I was pregnant with my son. And I lost my parents within 17 months of each other. My dad died 3 weeks before I graduated from law school, and my mother died 17 months later when I was 2 months pregnant with my son. So I went through a battle with cancer, and then when my son was 13, he came in my room and said, "Mom, I got this knot on my leg." And we looked at the knot. I'm not a doctor. My doctor is a juris doctor. I mean, I don't know nothing about no lumps on the leg. So I took him to my friend who's a nurse practitioner. She looked at it. She said it looked like a piece of fat that might have gotten infused around blood clot when he got hit playing football. That's what everybody thought. Even the surgeon who took it out thought that it was just a lipoma, a piece of fat that got infused around a blood clot. But when we got to Jackson and they started doing those extra level tests, they found out that it was a soft tissue sarcoma. And you know, it's just amazing to me that when I talk to people about it, especially when I talk to doctors, you know, I was talking to a doctor, I sat in the courtroom one day and he told me, he said, oh wow, I didn't know that your son had to go through that. That is so awful. I said, yes sir, he's fine. And he was like, did he get to keep the limb? I said, what limb? He said, well, usually people don't get to keep the limb that a sarcoma attaches itself to. I was like, oh yeah, he kept his limb. I said, and then after he finished his chemo radiation, I said he built his strength up in his leg and started at left tackle for Oak Grove. They won the South State Championship in 2014 and the 6A Championship in 2013. So my baby got a championship ring, but I told him, I said, so yeah, you know, he got to keep the limb. So when I was at football games, people were like, oh my God, Kobe mama crazy. She just crazy. And because I was just, you know, I was acting a fool at the game. I was excited every play my baby did, because what they didn't understand was that my baby was squatting down on the line of scrimmage on a leg that he wasn't even supposed to have. And as left tackle, that's the leg he pushed off of him. So it was just like every time he did that, it was amazing to me. And it was like, and then my son, I bragged on him a lot because he was playing a football game during one of the home football games, and he had to leave the O-line huddle so they could introduce him as student body president over 1,700 children at Oak Grove. Okay, so it's just like I had taught him from day one that everything you want, you gotta hustle for it. If you're not willing to hustle for it, you ain't gonna get it, because I ain't gonna give it to you. So, my son, he graduated from high school last year, and he graduated as a Mississippi scholar, and he got 4 scholarships to Ole Miss undergrad. He got 1 for being student body president, he got a Lucky Day scholarship, he got 1 for Ole Miss Circle scholarship, and he got a Chancellor's Leadership scholarship. So he got 4 scholarships that pay all his tuition, and I'm so grateful for that. But the thing about it is, I had to explain the struggle to Kobe. I had to help him understand that as a college student, you're supposed to struggle. You ain't supposed to be having it, boy. You don't get on my face. So he was hanging out with one of my classmates, and if you're from Hattiesburg, you know who Dr. Bennett York is. So he's a land developer, dentist, oral surgeon. You know, he's got loads of money. When I went to high school with his daughter, she had a tag on her car, on her candy apple red Porsche. She had the tag SPY on the tag for Susan Page York, right? So I told my baby, I said, Kobe, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me school you real quick. I said, don't be up there hanging out with them airship babies. Don't be hanging around with Page children. I said, because you ain't no airship baby. I said, the only thing my daddy left me was alone, so I need you to leave me alone. Because I ain't got no money. Don't call me no more till Friday. Okay. But they don't know anything about that because they don't really understand struggle. My parents couldn't pay for college, so I had to work 3 jobs in undergrad. And if you have not said, I want to say this for the children in the room, if you're a teenager, listen to me. If you have never said 200 pennies on pump number 4, you don't know nothing about struggle. Nothing. Going through all of those things that we went through, you know, it's just like we never got sidetracked. We were so happy. We were singing in the car. People thought we were crazy. They thought we were crazy because they were like, this is the cancer ward. Why y'all giggling and laughing? I said, because, you know, God is still God. Whether my baby is here in Larry Dodson Hospital or at Oak Grove High School, I said, my God is still my God. I said, and we can't praise him differently because something is going on in our lives. Because if we do that, then we are happy based on happenings instead of having joy, which is based on Jesus. And so, I forgot, and I know my pastor would fuss at me if he was here, but I bring y'all greetings from West Point Baptist Church, where Marcus Cathy is my pastor. Don't tell him I said that in the middle of my speech. I said it at the beginning. I said it. I did. Tell him to charge it to my head, not my heart. How about that? Okay, so, But the thing about it is we were at church, and I don't know what the minister's name was. He was there doing a revival. And he said that your joy, in order for your joy to be real, he said the J in joy has to stand for Jesus. And the Y in joy has to stand for you. And the O has to be a mathematical 0. Meaning that nothing will separate you from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus. That was one of the most profound things I have ever heard in my life. And he said that was about 10 years ago. But I use that all the time. I always quote him, even though I don't know his name. I always give him credit. Thank you. But y'all, what we have to do, and that's what I tell my son when I talk to him, when I educate him on life. We have to find our own purpose. We have to figure out what our purpose is, because God put us all here for a reason, to praise him through our works. We can have faith, but faith without works is dead. So we gotta have faith, but we gonna praise God with our works. So that's what I tell my son all the time, and we have to find our individual purpose and pursue that with faith and focus. We can't just use faith. We gotta use faith and focus to make sure that our works glorify the Lord. We got to determine where we fit into the big picture so that we can, use what we have to produce change in our country. We have to maintain focus on the totality of the circumstances and never give into a woe is me mentality. Apathy and complacency never solved a problem. Quick fixes have never solved a problem. What those three things do, apathy, complacency, quick fixes, what that does, it creates another problem. So don't give in to that. The only constants in life are God and change. And as we go through the events of this ever-changing world, we got to remember that perspective is everything. We can never allow narrow-mindedness to limit your perspective and cause you to lose your holistic view of the big picture. Never allow yourself to get bogged down in any temporary set of circumstances. They can change, and they will change if you keep moving. We just gotta keep moving. We can't stall here. We got too much work to do. You see, when you keep moving forward and upward, you will look at this obstacle in the future that you think right now is insurmountable. And if you keep rising and moving forward and upward, you will see this obstacle is now behind you and beneath you. So you just got it. But if you don't keep moving forward, it will consume you. It will consume you, and it can destroy you. But don't allow your success or your cause to be glorified. Okay? You can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, my resume is long as my leg. And I got long legs. My husband got longer legs. I mean, you think I'm tall. He's 6'7". That just don't make sense. Might make history. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something about my husband real quick. I had so many friends that were telling me that I was blocking my blessing because I've always desired a tall man. I always desired a tall man because in these shoes, I'm a good 6'2". Okay? And so I've always desired, and they said, you blocking your blessing. You left that, no, don't tell me that. I said, about the word of God says, if I delight myself in the Lord, he will give me the desires of my heart. He's going to give me a good tall man. He's going to give me a good man. He's going to be a strong man. He's going to be a hard-working man, family man, and he's going to be tall too. My God ain't got no limits. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. So I said, what you have to do, though, is you have to seek God. And when you're chasing after God, God will send that man chasing after you. So don't give in to, I'm going to take what I can get. Don't do that. You wait on the Lord to bring you who he has for you. But as far as the success and having humility is concerned, your cause, like if we're having a cause or we're doing something and we mad because so-and-so got more talk time than I did, you know, I didn't get to talk last, my word should have been the last word. Ain't nobody got time for that. We don't have time for that. Our country is just going, it's just going into shambles because we are not united in our cause. It's like we'll lose ourselves in the method. Like we have the same cause, but we have a different method. And then so the method ends up getting caught up in the madness, and our cause is lost in the mess. And that's why we don't get anywhere. That's why we don't get anywhere. We got to do better. And people always tell me, "Oh, girl, you so down to earth. You so cool. You so down to earth." But But the thing about it is, and the reason that it's so easy for me to be down to earth, because I understand that the power vested in me by the state of Mississippi don't mean nothing unless God vests me with the power to take my next breath. And if you keep that mentality, you will stay humble for the rest of your life. Okay, all right, just don't do it. Okay, so real quick, I want to talk about voting. I really want to talk about this, and I won't be before you long. Ain't that what y'all say? When y'all gonna talk for 30 more minutes, y'all say I won't be before you long. Okay. Woo, that was funny. Okay, let me drink some water. Okay, I'm about to close. You said I'm supposed to say I'm about to close. Okay. Okay, but what we have to realize and get our youth to realize is that if you are not a part of the process that creates our government, then you are a pawn being used to perpetuate the problems that exist in our government. So if you're not voting, you are the problem. If you're not voting, you are the problem. I'm gonna tell you about 3 groups of people. I went to speak at a Black Lives Matter forum up in Augusta, Georgia at Payne College. And I was talking to the kids and I was like, I said, how many of y'all are mad with white people because Donald Trump won the election? Half the room, see, she did raise her hand right there. See, and half the room, but you're not alone though. Half the room of those kids raised their hand and said that they were mad with white people because Donald Trump was president. I said, put your hand down. Because I'm gonna tell you who you need to be mad with. You need to be mad with your cousins that live right there at your auntie's house. Because it's like 7 grown folks over there over 18 and ain't none of them registered to vote. And you need to be mad with them. I said, because there are 3 groups of people that elected Donald Trump president. These people are as follows. The people who went to the polls and checked his name on purpose. Because there are many black people who did that. Went to the polls and checked his name on purpose. There are not enough racist white people or enough elite rich people to elect a president. It's not enough. You can tell that from the popular vote. And the fact that Hillary Clinton got more than 2 million more than Donald Trump. It's not enough of them. It's not enough. So we gotta put the blame where the blame belongs. So we talked about this one group of people who checked his name at the box, cognitively. And you know, and the thing about this was a lot of poor white people who cognitively voted for them. But Dr. King, when he was in the jail in Birmingham, he told the jailer that the same forces that are being used to oppress black people are being used to oppress poor white people. So you need to be marching with me instead of locking me up. So, and that's so profound because we have to really look for our own fault in what we did and what we didn't do to make this happen. The second group of people who elected Donald Trump president is your cousin Ray Ray. And all his friends on election day who will stand around drinking 40 ounce and wouldn't go to the polls and vote. That's the second set of people who elected Donald Trump, people who didn't bother to go at all. And it wasn't just cousin Ray Ray and them, there were some educated people who made the choice not to go at all. Some people were thinking, oh, there's no way he's gonna win. They don't need me. He still got plenty of votes. They don't need me. They don't need me. I ain't going. And so there are a lot of people who made the choice not to go, and that's the second group of people that contributed to our president-elect. Okay. The third group of people who elected Donald Trump are people who nullified their own vote by voting for somebody who was not gonna win. Now, you know, I was a Barry Sanders fan. You know, there's a lot of people that were Barry Sanders fan and President Obama fans, and you know, but President Obama and Barry Sanders were not on the general election ballot. The only way that Barry Sanders would have won would have been from his write-in votes would have been if both the Republican and the Democratic nominee were simultaneously hit in the head with a bolt of lightning or a meteor. So that's how unlikely it was. So people were doing that. They called that their protest vote. That's not gonna get us anywhere. It's like when people get mad with me when I was talking about Kaepernick. That little boy that played for the 49ers, he got enough bad blood with me because he a 49er. And then, he ain't got time for the 49ers. Falcons neither. Cowboys at home with us, so I ain't got nothing else to say about that. Okay. It's over with, Cowboys. I had to get that dig in. But what you have to realize, though, is that he took a knee. He was on the front cover of People magazine, blowing up on social media, just all of these different things. I want to know how many people Colin Kaepernick registered to vote. I don't care nothing about him you put America in timeout for 1 minute and 45 seconds. That's how long it takes for me to sing the national anthem. So you take a knee for 1 minute and 45 seconds. What you gonna do for the rest of the time to mobilize voters? I believe in his cause. I believe in the cause of Black Lives Matter, but I don't think that method is going to get us as far as we need to go. We need to register voters and mobilize voters. Now, I bet that if Colin Kaepernick would have been driving a bus on election day saying, come ride with Cap to the polls, everybody would have got in there and went to vote. That would have meant something to me. But him cutting his paycheck, I mean, he wasn't getting that much paid anyway because he'd been on the bench. So, I'm like, boy, bad. You better get time. Okay. So, what we have to do, y'all, I'm serious, I'm really, really serious about this, but we have to really mobilize voters. We have to educate our children. Because our children, you know, as cliche as it may sound, our children are our future. They are going to determine who going to be our mayor, who's going to be our police chief. I mean, who's going to be our nurses and our doctors and our lawyers and our judges? We have to get our children ready. We got to prepare them for the life that's coming ahead of them. We got to teach them what right looks like. You know, I spent 9 years working in the public defender's office, and I remember having a conversation with the DA, and I told him, I said, it's almost unfair for us to expect these children to do the right thing when they don't know what right looks like because they ain't never seen it before. We gotta bring these children to church. We gotta have programs for these children so they come to church and learn the right way to do things. Because what I see in the system is that the abused and the neglected children become the juvenile delinquents. That's 75% of them right there. So we have to really make sure that we pay attention to what our children do and make sure that they understand what right looks like. And like I said, praise them. Let them know that they're beautiful. You know, it's just like when I was a little, it can be lost. And black is truly beautiful. And because my dear mother reinforced that to me every day. She kissed my face every day before I left for school. She told me, you are beautiful. Look at your eyes. You are a beautiful child of God. You don't ever let anybody tell you anything different than that. And she reinforced that in me. And you got to reinforce that in your children. And so they'll have confidence in themselves. And they won't deal with any foolishness. And they won't let their friends pull them in with peer pressure to do stupid stuff because their future will matter to them. I matter to me. I matter to me. My sister told me one time, she said, girl, if we could sell you for half of what you think you're worth, we could all retire. But if you don't believe in yourself, how anybody else gonna believe in who you are? Show these kids that we care, and we got to show them that there are consequences for bad actions. When I was married to my first husband, Ayanna Van Zandt said I could call him my husband. But when I was married to my first husband, I was also raising my stepkids. Some of that was over some of y'all head, but anyway, or under some of y'all feet. But when I was married to him, my stepson lived with us. And I was taking him to Atlanta to see his mom. And his dad had already left earlier that day because he was a barber. He was working in the barbershop, so he'd get there at about 6 o'clock on Saturday in the morning. And so we were in the car, and I said, well, call your dad so he can pray for us while we're on the highway, you know, and then, you know, talk to your dad. He said, yes, ma'am. So he got the phone, he called his dad on the cell phone, he had him on speakerphone, he prayed for us. And after he got through praying, he took the phone off speakerphone, put the phone to his ear. So all I could hear was his side of the conversation. And he was saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I understand. No, sir. I love you too. Bye. That was all I heard. And when he got off the phone, I said, Travis, do you know what that sounded like to me? He was like, ma'am. I said, when my clients are standing in front of the circuit judge and they're entering a guilty plea and they're answering his questions and they're saying, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, I understand, no, sir. I said, but at the end of the conversation, the circuit judge does not say, I love you, son. He says, I hereby remand you to the custody of the sheriff for implementation of your sentence. I said, so take love with your discipline, son, while you can get love with your discipline, because the world is going to give you cold, hard consequences. And at that point, there ain't going to be nothing you can do to save them. So save your children while you can. Let them be mad with you when you turn their video game off. You know, they can get so mad that they can spontaneously combust. It don't matter. My son was junior class president in his junior year, student body president senior year. When he was a junior class president, he was like, Mama, we going to TP Yards. I'll be back. I said, you going where? He said, we're just going to go TP Yards. He said it like it wasn't no big deal. And I said, what's TP in Yards? He said, rolling yards with toilet paper. And I was like, oh, no, son, you're not doing that. And he was like, ma'am, I said, that is trespassing and malicious mischief. You will not be involved in that. And he was like, but Mama, I'm junior class president. They expect me to go. I said, well, tell them to expect in one hand and go see the toilet man in the other hand and see which one fill up the quickest. I said, because I'm finna sing you a Jennifer Hudson song and I'm telling you, you ain't going. And he was so mad with me, he was about to catch on top, but I ain't care. I don't care nothing about come get mad, I don't care nothing about that. And my child was safe in his room. And later on that week, 3 children had been out doing homecoming activities. 3 kids, 2 of them went to his high school, 1 of them went to Purvis. Going out, spun out of the yard, hit a tree. 2 girls killed instantly. 2 of his classmates killed instantly. Little boy died the following Saturday after surgery. And then what made it so bad, y'all, one of the little girls, Mama told her she couldn't go. So when the police got to her house, she said, no, my baby's not dead. She's in her room. So they walked back to her room with the police and opened the door, and the mama just lost it because her baby was gone. And I mean, you know, young people, think about that. Think about the last thing you get to say to your mama is a lie. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, don't make your mama live with that. Don't do that to her. Be obedient. Do what you're told to do, because if you can't exercise discipline at home, you ain't gonna be able to do it in the work. So, you know, it's like, when I talk about discipline, you know, I speak well on it because it's like my son, Kobe, you know, some of y'all know Kobe, but Kobe, he played left tackle. Yeah, I told y'all he played left tackle at Oak Grove. Kobe is 6'3", and at his biggest, when he was playing left tackle, he was about 270 pounds. So I know that discipline is a learned behavior. Because usually, you know, my son can pick me up like I'm a 2-year-old. I mean, that's how he can pick me up, talk me, move me around like I'm a 2-year-old. He did that when I bought him a car. So you would think that somebody that you can handle like that, if you can handle somebody like that, then if they tell you what to do, your instinct will be, you don't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? Look, size them up, show them how little they are. You don't tell me what to do. But when I tell my son what to do, even though he's off in college and 18 years old, technically a grown man, when I tell him to do something, he says, yes, ma'am. Those 2 words. 2 words. But it's about respect and discipline. He learned in the house to respect authority, so I ain't got to worry about him cussing the police out on the side of the road. I ain't got to worry about him going to court telling the judge, yeah, now. No, I ain't got to worry about that because I taught him at the house how to treat adults. And I told him, I said, err on the side of caution. If you don't know whether they old enough for your mama, say it and make them tell you not to say it. But you say it. Because he understands what I've been knowing for years, that strength pushes you forward, but discipline allows you to stay the course and finish the race. So, this is what I want us to understand and leave with today. I'm almost through. I think I am. Yeah, I'm almost through. This is what I want us to leave with today. I want us to leave with the memory of why Dr. King did everything that he did. I mean, did he do that so we could sit at home on election day? Did he do that so we could, you know, rob people and break in houses and walk around with our pants sagging? Yeah, I said it. I said it and I meant it. I can't. And so he didn't die for that. That's not what he died for. He died so that we would have the same possibilities as someone who is fairer in skin than we are. He wanted us to be judged by the character, the content of our character, instead of the color of our skin. But how can we realize Dr. King's vision if our content don't have no character in it? If we don't have character, how they gonna judge us by the content of our character? They are, but if we ain't got no character, then they doing just what you let them do. You're not respecting yourself, so you're not giving them room to respect you. You treat people the way you want it to be treated, and you treat yourself the way you want other people to treat you. I tell women this when I speak at women's conferences and single conferences. I tell them, like, show those men in the world how to love you right. Show them how to love you right, because then I won't accept anything less than that. If you can't lead, love, protect, and provide, you need to get over from around here, because I ain't got time to be blocking my blessing. Move. So we got to be concerned about what happens in our communities, and we get up in arms about federal election and national elections, but we got to be involved in local elections, because that's what's going to dictate what's going to happen around the corner from your house. Okay, because people always get mad, Black Lives Matter, and this crooked, racist cop killed this black boy for no reason. But you got to see the domino effect behind that. That racist, crooked cop that killed that little boy, that black boy, was hired by a police chief. Okay? That police chief was hired and appointed by the mayor. Okay? And the mayor's decision had to be confirmed by the elected city council. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this? That's what I'm talking about. And then we get mad and we start looting and tearing stuff up when he don't get indicted. But another elected position determines what the grand jury hears, the district attorney. So if we ain't voting for who's going to be the district attorney, how can we expect them to care about what we care about if we're not having any input on who sits in that chair? So I need y'all to get with me on this and help us spread this message. Quit sharing people fighting on Facebook. You know, share some positivity. We don't want to see no kids fighting, nobody fighting no whole house and out in the parking lot of a hotel. We don't see that. We need to see some positive things. Everybody is in a social media frenzy. So let's flood it with positivity instead of flooding it with mess. Because like I said, the method gets lost in the madness that ends up in a big mess. So this is what we got to do. I'm humbled for the sacrifices that Dr. Martin Luther King made for me. I am just grateful for the movements of the civil rights movement that allowed me to become what God called me to be. And I'm grateful to Jesus Christ for dying for me, to give me the grace and mercy that I need to do the things every day, because I need a daily portion of his grace and mercy to deal with some of the things that I have to see on a daily basis. So at this time, I just want to tell you thank you for having me. I want to say thank you for allowing me to celebrate Dr. King's 88th birthday with you. And I want to thank God for giving him to us 88 years ago. Y'all have a blessed day.